So the CNN town hall was a nightmare, and it's exposing our politicians for who they are. Now, Indy, consider yourself lucky that your brain was not exposed to that CNN town hall. I, for one, have to say, even the snippets of it, I am shocked. No amount of editing, no amount of forming a shield wall around Kamala can save her image. And what did we learn from Kamala's CNN town hall? Not a gosh darn thing. Nothing's going to change. She gave us word salads. I mean, even the most easiest of answers, she couldn't do it. And I want to give a huge shout out to Caitlin Johnstone, who has done some phenomenal work.
This Indie Media Award honoree.
Yeah, that's right. Let's go ahead and play this video, because folks, it just shows you who these politicians are and what they're about.
The only good thing about this nightmare is it's exposing the monsters for who they are. A really extraordinary moment happened on the CNN town hall with Vice President Kamala Harris on Wednesday. Asked by an audience member what she would do to end the slaughter of Palestinians by U.S.-sponsored bombs, Harris delivered her usual canned answer about how far too many Palestinians have died and the need for a two-state solution, after which host Anderson Cooper asked a follow-up question. What can you say to voters who are thinking about supporting a third-party candidate or staying on the couch, not voting at all because of this issue? Cooper asked. What followed was an absolutely jaw-dropping answer from the vice president. In essence, she says that people who have strong feelings about the genocide in Gaza need to get over it and vote for her anyway if they want abortions and affordable groceries, because she supports the genocide, and that's not going to change. Listen, I am not going to deny the strong feelings that people have, Harris said. I don't know that anyone who has seen the images who would not have strong feelings about what has happened, much less those who have relatives who have died and been killed. And I know people, and I've talked with people, so I appreciate that. But also, I do know that for many people who care about this issue, they also care about bringing down the price of groceries. They also care about our democracy and not having a president of the United States who admires dictators and is a fascist. They also care about the fact that we need practical, common-sense solutions from a leader who is working to work across the aisle on behalf of the American people and not themselves. They want a president who cares about a fundamental freedom to make decisions about your own body, understanding that we're not going to change anyone's belief, but let's not have the government telling women what to do with their body. Which is just wild. I mean, technically, she's not saying anything different from what liberals have been shouting for months at Americans who oppose the Gaza genocide, but she's not supposed to say that. She's not supposed to come right out and admit that she's a genocidal monster and tough shit if you don't like it because the other candidate is the greater evil. That's normally the sort of disgusting manipulation you let other people do for you while pretending to be a good person. The only positive thing to come out of this nightmare is that it's exposing the real monsters for who they are. More and more people are seeing that the U.S. government is much too evil to be allowed to rule the world. More and more people are seeing that the state of Israel is much too evil to be allowed to continue to exist in its present iteration. More and more people are seeing that the Western press are propaganda services for the U.S. power alliance and should never be trusted. More and more people are seeing that the Democratic Party exists solely to protect the murderous and corrupt oligarchic status quo of the U.S. empire, and not to promote the interests of ordinary human beings.
Yep.
More and more people are seeing that Western liberalism is just a more photogenic version of fascism. When you've got a leading presidential candidate standing in front of the nation saying that yes, she will continue an active genocide, but you'd better vote for her anyway if you want abortions and affordable groceries, that shows people something about the kind of nation they live in that you could never get across to them by sheer argumentation. When you've got evidence of mass atrocities entering people's social media feeds on a daily basis, while the entire political media class tells them this is fine and normal, that communicates a message which would be hard to receive in words alone. There is so very, very little to say about this horror that is remotely positive. But it is opening eyes. And enough open eyes is all that's required to change the world.
I love her. And her husband, Tim, both of them.
Yep. And so looking at this about the great revelation, the great reveal of who these politicians are, what our media is about, it's long overdue. And the internet has been an effective tool in a way to shining a light on these charlatans, but also at the same time as well, many people have been successful in manipulating the media and turning the internet into something they could try and trick people as well. And look, I mean, people see what they want to see, people hear what they want to hear, but the truth is that our politicians are bought and owned by Wall Street, big banks, and corporate donors. Same people who control our politicians also own our media. So when you have the political class and the establishment ruling class, as well as controlling our media, all three in the same bed, it's going to be something disgusting that you don't want to walk into, because that's how fascism really comes to light. Not some guy, not some TV show host, not some rich billionaire. I mean, it's been, the foundations to it have already been laid, and it's been going on for decades now. And all of us, boomers, Gen Xers, millennials, Gen Z, all of us are dealing with the unchecked corruption that's happening. And if we are truly going to acknowledge it, we have to see it for what it is. It's like that moment in the film They Live. Like, you know, when you put on the glasses and you see obey, consume, don't dream, just consume, eat, buy. This is your God, looking at the dollar sign. I mean, that's what we have right now. And I'm finding some comfort that other people are saying, well, it's good. Yeah, I see what you've been talking about, kid. How our media is corrupt, how our politicians are corrupt. We have to have these conversations, and we have to start waking more people up to the fact that what we have just doesn't work. And I know you guys at INN, you guys have been covering this too. You say none of the above. Tell us what none of the above means, Indy.
It means that we are out on federal electoralism entirely. The system is not set up. We're not millionaires. We're not big corporations. We're not donors. We're not being listened to. And all the time that we spend talking about this, all the time that we spend calling out politicians, waste of time. They don't give a shit. It doesn't affect anything. What we should be doing is helping each other. What we should be doing is building systems outside of the traditional systems that will allow us to exit the system. And that's what's making them crazy. The minute they lose control over us, that's when they really start to freak out. But what they're doing is they're manipulating everyone back into the corporate media atmosphere where they're pushing you. They set the parameters of left and right. It's a duopoly. You can pick column A or column B. Don't look at column C, or you're a fascist, or you're a crazy person, or you're a Russian, or you're of something that is of other, because you're not normal. You're not in the mainstream. You need to pick column A or column B. That's what this entire the system's got to come down. The bottom line is the only way that we're going to get any kind of real fundamental change is not in this system. We have an owned, corrupt, captured system that serves the wealthy, that serves the agenda of the largest 100 corporations and the wealthy people, like the donor class, like the Soroses. Yes, I will mention George Soros. Okay, he's not an evil boogeyman. His son Alex actually has met with Kamala Harris and multiple times with Tim Walz. He's given them a bunch of money. He does fund open society. That shit is real. It's not a right-wing talking point that he's a boogeyman. All right? They are funding tons of Democratic Party liberal operations, censorship operations. That is real and happening. And it's happening on the right, too. The Mellon family and the Adelson family and Peter Thiel. It's happening all across it because it is a uniparty, as the wonderful Whitney Webb has been saying for years. And finally, people are waking up and listening. Listen to the Last American Vagabond, Ryan Christian. Listen to Derek Bros. They just formed this independent media alliance of a bunch of content creators who have consistently gotten it right over the years. Right? They're a much larger version, in my mind, of INN. Tremendous work they've done. That includes Steve and Rove Morick from Geopolitics and Empire, and a whole bunch of creators I'm guessing that people in this chat may have never heard of. We've got to expand our circles, and we've got to start looking elsewhere to the corporate structures that have gotten us here, because it's not getting us out of there.
Exactly. And so when we see the system also collapse, though, you know, I do maybe I'm overthinking this here, but I am seeing also the beginning, because there is the danger in independent media, but there's also the collapse of corporate media that's on its way too.
Yes.
And a lot of people are realizing that's nothing but smoke and mirrors. It's nothing but lies. It's nothing but propaganda. But also, corporate media built its audience up as people who like to be who like the same gruel, who like the same bug dish dinner. And when corporate media no longer is capable of being relevant or is that financially stable, and they have to change things, the audience that they built will also leave them too, which maybe there's hope for independent media. Maybe there's hope to deprogram people, because at least I want to end this story on a positive note. Folks, I like to tell Democrats to beg harder, but this is from the LA Times. Now, they've chosen not to endorse Kamala Harris, which is something fascinating, right? They chose not to endorse anybody, but now the LA Times Guild begs subscribers not to cancel after editor resigns over owner's refusal to allow the paper to endorse Kamala Harris. Follow orders. This is kind of funny. So the Los Angeles Times declined to endorse a presidential candidate after endorsing Democrats since 2008. Now the editorial's editor has decided to resign over it. So you quit?
This is, remember, what state is Kamala Harris representing again?
The great state of, you know it, you love it, California.
And the biggest newspaper in California is
the LA Times.
Oh, right. Oh, thank you. Okay.
Muriel Garza quit on Wednesday because she was not okay with the paper's silence on backing Vice President Kamala Harris for president. That silence led the Donald Trump campaign to say even her fellow California knows, no, she's not up for the job. Of course, listen. Hey, if you live in the great state of California, how do you feel about Kamala Harris? You just type in the comment section below and let us know how you feel. No holding back. The lack of endorsement and resignation of Garza prompted the LA Times Guild to release their own statement begging, beg me harder, begging readers not to give up their subscriptions, reminding them that subscriptions pay their salaries of those staffed on the paper. Give us money. We need money. We need money. We need money. We remain deeply concerned about the Times owner's decision to block a planned endorsement. They say they're going to. They said going to say that they are pressing for answers. Oh, they're concerned. They're concerned.
Wait.
What's up?
So she's mad that they're not endorsing an anointed candidate who wasn't elected by anyone?
Mm-hmm. Yes, that is correct. So she took her ball and she's going home crying.
Screw you guys! I'm going home. Cool.
I'm resigning. Oh, so, wait, here's
guess what's going to happen to her?
What's going to happen to her?
Newsletter near you.
Oh,
coming to a Substack near you. I'll guarantee it. All these people just they realize I want to be free. I want to say what I want to say. They're going to start themselves a Substack. I'm going to resign, and then they're going to bring their shit livery and their corporate media mindset over to Substack and start to water down that platform.
No, hold on. Indy, we're going to do some acting here real quick before we read the rest of that article. All right, folks. Hey, listen, I promise entertainment. You're going to get it. Can you please play that Rachel Maddow clip one more time?
Coming to a Substack newsletter near you.
No. Don't. No more corporate media. Go away, corporate media. Go away. Go away. Listen here, corporate media. This is my backyard you're coming into. Get out. You're fired. Go away, corporate media. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Well, I got hair in my mouth now. That's the problem with having long hair. That's the problem with growing out this long hair. Problem with growing out this long hair, Indy.
You know, she was saying that to Max Blumenthal, right?
I know.
That's why I love that sound bit. Because I'm still waiting on the day. It's a matter of time. Substack recently started an enterprise division because they want to go after larger media organizations to start setting up over there, which is another real concern of mine. At some point, I'll write up an article about what I see them doing. I've written about this before, but they have been trying, I think, to tailor their platform almost to appeal to a Rachel Maddow type, someone who has a massive following, who doesn't need the network they're on, that can monetize and speak freely without any filter or editor to tell them what they can and can't say via a Substack newsletter. It's free. The problem is they're sucking up all the oxygen in the room when they come over. They're taking up the $5 a month, $10 a month subscriptions, and there's not enough money left over from the viewing audience for all the independents, is what's going to end up happening. Because there's only so many newsletters you can subscribe to every month.
Exactly. And as far as I'm concerned, corporate media, go back where you came from. We don't want you people here. Corporate media, go away.
Yeah.
Here's something. I'm resigning because I want to make it clear that I'm not okay with us being silent. No one's silencing you, you stupid moron. She told the Columbia Journalism Review, in dangerous times, honest people need to stand up. This is how I'm standing up. Whoop-dee-doo for you. Garza was confused as to why the endorsement was prevented from running, and she said that her readers were as well calling the decisions perplexing. Harris is a native Californian who served her entire political career in the state as a prosecutor. Yeah, great job as a prosecutor. District attorney, great job as a district attorney. Attorney general, again, before running to represent the state in the United States Senate. Great. How whoop-dee-doo for everybody. It was owner Patrick Soon-Shiong of the LA Times who made the call not to back Harris. He bought the outlet, so he owns it. He can do whatever he wants with it in 2018 and sent his message via editor Terry Tang. Garza didn't like it and said, and she's the one who had written the editorial she expected the paper to run, backing Harris after the editorial board decided to endorse Harris. He addressed the lack of
okay. Go ahead. So stop right there. So the owner of the paper doesn't want to endorse, but the editorial board all decided to do it. I can kind of understand why they might be upset, because this is supposed to be their voice. I mean, if I don't agree with their voice, but if they're being silenced and their voice is being overridden by owner class, I don't. Again, this is the problem. This is why she's going to be
to a Substack newsletter near you.
Most likely. Okay, I don't know that for a fact yet, but I can pretty well predict.
Mm-hmm. Real quick here. I do want to pull this up here because there's another thing to it that I want to address, and that is, first of all, when we know the media, our entire landscape, when somebody buys a newspaper or TV station, anything of that nature, like, I understand where the editors are coming from, but the owner's saying no to it. There has to be more to this. So he addressed the lack of endorsement, saying the editorial board was asked to draft a factual analysis of all the positive and negative policies by each candidate during their tenures at the White House and how these policies affected the nation. And that, in addition, the board was asked to provide their understanding of the policies and plans initiated by the candidates during the campaign and its potential effect on the nation in the next 4 years. The idea was to provide clear and nonpartisan information side by side so that readers could decide that they thought themselves, would decide what they thought themselves. Instead of adopting this path as suggested, he said, the editorial board chose to remain silent. So it's more of a he said, she says. But the great revelation is that everything's being revealed. To quote somebody who I view as a great and wonderful, wonderful saint of Hardlands media, the prophet.
All lies will be exposed.
The media is being exposed. Politicians are being exposed. Hollywood's being exposed. This is the best time to be alive because the great system, the great lie is being revealed. And hopefully more people speak out. But
I agree, Molly Littlebird. Molly Littlebird says, I think it's good that they don't endorse anyone. I agree. I think that that newspapers and the media needs to stay neutral to belligerent against all of these politicians. How do you hold them accountable if you're endorsing them?
Mm-hmm.
You're signing off on them at that point. You're signing off on genocide. That's telling me that the Los Angeles Times is wants to endorse genocide, and the owner won't allow the editors to do that. And the editor, the owner is saying to the editors, look, you can do that, but put up side by side, say what the people who don't like her say. They won't do that. They want to be propagandists. They don't want to actually be journalists.
Exactly. And when they finally have to step up, when they finally have to, talk about it, they won't do it. So, folks, the great lie. I mean, if we think 2024, the year of the dragon is going to be something, wait till you get to 2025, year of the snake. Everything is happening as we have foreseen it, and now's the time to be speaking truth to power and be consistent with your values. And everything's being revealed. So shout out to Caitlin Johnstone, who's done phenomenal work. Please follow her and follow everyone else in independent media because the system, it's crashing down, and I, for one, am feasting on it.
SWAT team took your neighbor today. Watch them as they walked him away. You told yourself extremists come in all different shapes. Met his eyes and lowered your gaze. Is it too late for us to ever change? We are collecting the dust of better days. They're always watching us, but we're never safe. We're not meant to be safe, not meant to escape. We aren't meant to wake. Sheriff stopped your daughter today. Pepper sprayed her twice in the face. He must have had good reason if he'd treat her that way. At least that's what they taught you to say. But is it too late for us to ever change? Once we're collecting the dust of better days. They're always watching us, but we're never safe. We're not meant to feel safe, not meant to escape. We aren't meant to wake. Feds arrived and had you detained. Said you'd made some posts they once changed. Tased you till you felt like you'd forgotten your name, or life before they had you contained. Oh, life before they had you contained. SWAT team took your neighbor today.
All lies will be exposed.